Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another installment of My Life in Hard Times. I recently saw a couple videos here on YouTube by my boy Bryant Chambers. He makes a lot of videos about MBTI. I like him because he's wearing that Nationals hat all the time, man. I love those Nationals. He made a couple videos called Why INFJs Suck at Relationships. I just wanted to make a response video because I think Bryant makes a lot of really good videos about INFJs and you should check him out. He himself is not INFJ, and so he maybe doesn't have that extra perspective that yours truly, your boy FJ, can give about why relationships can be difficult for us, why we can suck at it, why they can be torturous experiences that make you wonder why you tried to do this and why you're dragging yourself through this ordeal. He also said a lot of stuff that I really agreed with about, I can't remember the exact wording now. Now I feel really underprepared. But you know it's okay, guys, because I just got this book, Gifts Differing, by our girl Isabel Briggs Myers. She says intuitive types frequently make errors of fact. So basically that's my pass. If I say stuff that's incorrect, I can say, hey guys, it's because I'm an intuitive. So the things that he said, I find no fault with. But there's a few other things I want to add to it to round out the answer to the question why INFJs suck at relationships. It seems like those of us with Introverted Intuition, it seems like we're never fully satisfied with our understanding of things, and we realize that our interpretation of reality, it has many subjective elements to it, and I think we're always trying to refine that and come to something better, to come closer to the truth, maybe knowing that we'll never actually reach the truth. In doing so, we're always changing on sometimes a deep level. We're always seeking to improve ourselves in deep ways. Because of that, we can sometimes outgrow relationships. If we're not with someone else who is also actively trying to grow and improve themselves, we can find ourselves in a situation where we're like, wow, I'm not really the same person I was before, but this person I'm with is the same, and now this arrangement doesn't seem so compatible as it used to be. That's framing it in kind of a nice way, like, oh man, we're just always self-improving, and this other person is crappy and won't self-improve. But it can also just be like we change, good, bad, or neutral. I think we're pretty prone to changing ourselves. I mean, there are things about us that won't change, but we're not like certain types that have a very defined set of core values of who they are. Doesn't mean we don't have values, but I think that a lot of who we are is kind of up for internal debate. And I don't know if this is getting a little more personal. I don't know if this is something that you all can relate to, but sometimes it just feels like alright, so before I go into this, I don't want this to sound like a weird backwards way of me trying to present myself as some kind of complex, complicated person, and that's why, it's so difficult to have a relationship, because I'm just that special, man. That's not what I'm going for with this next point. For me, at least, and this is what I discovered in my last relationship and what has, propelled me more toward an interest in spirituality is that I started to realize that there were these things inside of me that I could not control. I had no control over. But they were and are like immovable, and there's nothing I can do about it. And they were things that affected the relationship. I mean, specifically just parts of my personality that I didn't know were there or didn't think were that important. And then all of a sudden when you add this other person there, there's this clash, and it started to make me feel, or even not even like, perhaps I did not even recognize this clash in a conscious way, but intuitively I was sensing some kind of conflict, and you can look back on my videos because I talked about it. I felt like physically ill from it. And what really was crappy about it was that I felt like these were not things that were really problems on a conscious level, but things within me that I couldn't control were rebelling, and they were saying, no, don't do this. And I couldn't even really put words to why. And in retrospect, I try to put words to it, and I've found a way to make concrete sense out of it rather than some kind of abstract. It was just a feeling. It was a sort of awakening to realize that this intuition within me, which I have no control over, was now calling the shots and was sort of saying, you must follow this path, you must get out of this relationship, or I'm not going to allow you to be happy. Which sounds kind of weird, like I have multiple personalities or something, but it's sort of just like I am me. The real me, is not really part of that. Does this make any sense? Does this make any sense whatsoever? And so it felt like if my personality is a river and another person is a boat, there are these like submerged stones that I didn't even know were there. And then, the boat gets wrecked upon them. Sometimes I know they're there and they're coming. And other times it's like, whoa, where did that come from? And so I had to come to this place of just accepting that I don't always have total say in how I feel, what I think, what I want to do, the decisions I make. This is not a way of abdicating responsibility, by the way. It's just sort of like, I felt like I wanted to go one direction, but then this stuff within me wanted to go a different direction. And I could have kept going in the direction that I wanted to go, but the other part of me would have made me miserable, and it would have been a waste of time. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll just go along with this. Now, which thing there was the real me? And which part of me was an illusion? Which part of me was the ego? Which part of me was fear? And that's the other thing. Even if fear is not warranted, if you have it, you can't get rid of it. You can't just tell fear to go away. You can do something in spite of fear, but then that still doesn't mean it's going to go away. It may seem like I've gotten a little sidetracked from the topic at hand, but I don't know if you've ever felt like that, where I don't know if it's just the intuition part, but you have these things going on inside of you that you can't really explain, and they call the shots from time to time, and if you try to go against them, it's like, watch out. I think also just generally, if we can take it back to a broader view, we are kind of weird people. We just are. And so I don't know what's best. Do we need a really like kind of bland person who like kind of absorbs the weirdness, or do we need another weird person who just perfectly interlocks with our weirdness? I'm not sure what is the best solution here. So then what's the answer? I mean, clearly there are many INFJs who get married and stuff, so it's not like this is some curse or anything, but it feels for me like right now I'm more focused on spiritual things and trying to, I don't know what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find some kind of you know what this hand motion means. I'm trying to like make everything inside me be going in the same direction, because I really didn't like that feeling of conflict within myself. it made me realize how I'm not truly as in control as perhaps I thought I was. So if you have any ideas about why it might be difficult for an INFJ to have success in relationships, leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. I especially be interested to hear how often it feels like your intuition is kind of like this separate thing from you that you don't always want to follow. That sounds almost sacrilegious, doesn't it? INFJ, he doesn't want to follow his intuition? I also want to thank Bryant Chambers for making those videos and giving me something to bounce my brain waves off of. So if you like the video, you know what to do. Give me a like. If you're new here and you want to see more videos, subscribe. Thank you to all the new subscribers. I'm so happy to see your smiling faces here, because I know you've just got a big fat smile plastered on your face as you watch this video. Although I see some of you did change seats, and if you get marked off for attendance, what can I say? It's your fault. Also, lastly, I've just kind of leafed through this book, and if you're INFJ, which I assume you are, why else would you be watching this? It's a little disappointing because it's sort of like the INFJ is like barely talked about. So like, oh yeah, INFJs, they're whatever. They're not glorified in here like they are elsewhere in the internet world. They're not some magical unicorn in here. But anyway, I look forward to reading this maybe one day and telling you what I think about it. Until then, it will stay on the floor under my bed. All right, well, this has been your boy FJ. Until next time, keep sucking at relationships.